Hi everyone, it's Katrina from PCSE. What we're going to do today is have a look at how to submit a GOS 6 claim when you have undertaken a domiciliary visit. So let's go to the PCSE Online screen. And as the optometrist who's completing the sight test, I've logged into PCSE Online and I go to make a claim. So GOS 6. And I'm looking for the PVN, so the pre-visit notification that was submitted in relation to this visit. So I'm going to use today's date, the visit date, as the search criteria, but there are a number of other criteria that you can use. And we only have the one visit today, so this has returned my PVN. Now, when I've arrived at the visit venue, then what has happened is another patient has come forward to request a sight test on the day because they have had symptoms of very recent onset, which suggests they've got an eye problem. So regulations allow me to see an extra patient or extra patients. So I've got this button that allows me to add patient to this visit, and because they weren't on the original notification, then of course I need to enter all of the patient details into the GOS 6. So let's get their name, surname in. So we've got the address where they live because that's where we're attending. It was a residential notification. And they don't know when the last time they had their sight test, but they can't attend the practice or any practice due to the reason that they've given us. We have to enter that before we can move on to the patient eligibility section. So every time we have a sight test claim, we have to now see whether evidence is seen or not seen of their eligibility. So we didn't see the patient's eligibility evidence, but they did tell us that they receive pension credit guarantee. So that's what we've selected, and we go on to save and next. Okay, so now we're in the patient's declaration section. We have the patient's name and date of birth at the top of the screen there, and it's going to be the patient's carer who's going to sign on their behalf, so we need to select that. And the patient's carer is the daughter, so they're at the same address as the patient, so we've got that handy button that allows us to automatically populate the address without having to enter all the details, and we just enter the name of the signatory. So we're now ready to get them to sign the declaration. Just check, use that button to make sure that we've collected all the data before we actually go as far as the signature. So everything seems to be fine. So we're going to click on the QR code to bring up the patient signature declaration, and we're going to get the patient's daughter to sign. We click accept, and the signature loads up. Signature saved successfully. You can see that here in our claim, and we're ready to move on now to the performer declaration. Now, what we've just been entering here, then of course, if I have a member of support staff with me, then they can actually complete these sections for me. So, but we're now onto the performer declaration, which the optometrist themselves obviously has to complete. So what we're going to say is that we've made a domiciliary visit now to several patients at this address, because we've now actually got 3 patients that we've seen or we will be seeing. This patient is the first of those patients, and the outcome is that we needed to refer them. So we then on to signing this and saving for contractor signatory. Now, what you'll see here is that I have missed the mandatory data, and that lets you see that you avoid any rejected claims by having the pop-up message, the warning message before you can get onto the next screen. So I haven't checked that I'm claiming the site test fee. So if I do that and check all the other data, no more red warning signs. Sign again because I've altered the information and save awaiting contractor signature. So as a performer, I've completed that, signature's been captured, and I can now go back to seeing the next patient. So if I search for the PVN again, I'm going to bring up the patients that were on the PVN when we submitted it. So again, we'll just use the visit date as an easy way to retrieve this PVN. So if I then open the notification, then these patients, so brother and sister, then we had notified that we'd be seeing them both. And so if I just show you that from there, because we already had all of their details on the pre-visit notification, then when I click Create GOS 6, then the claim opens, and of course it populates the information that we already entered when we created the PVN. So just need to confirm title, because that wasn't there. It has the patient's name, address, date of birth, and we have to confirm the reason that the patient had was eligible to have a domiciliary site test. So we enter the reason that the patient tells us, or the carer tells us, and then we can move through the GOS 6 just as we did with the other example. So very straightforward, giving you the flexibility to add the patients that you might need to see on the day. If you turn up and someone has to be added as an additional patient who wasn't on the notification, but when your patients are on the notification, then that GOS 6 pre-populates with their details, and it means that it's a quick and easy route through to getting the claim completed and submitted. If you have any other scenarios that you want to see in relation to domiciliary, pre-visit notifications, GOS 6 claims, or any of the other GOS types, then please let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.